because Raw kicked off with a huge surprise. Burn it down!
Welcome back to the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm Mark Izzo, and he is Dylan O'Brien. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about money, dollar bills, y'all, in the bank. Because that is the next premium live event for the dub. The dub being WWE. Not to get confused with other dubs. Because a lot of wrestling companies probably have a dub in their name. But not the dub.
The dub-dub-E. As they say,
Dub.
as the kids say, the WWE.
Double dub. We got our first match for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, so I feel like we can't really talk about Money in the Bank without talking about Monday Night Raw from a couple nights ago, because Raw kicked off with a huge surprise. Burn it down! Burn it down!
Yeah.
Anyway, we got the return of Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins is back, baby. He has not been seen since night 2 of WrestleMania when he took a chair shot for the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, in his Shield attire. And he took that chair shot from Roman Reigns. We have not seen him since. And we have not seen him address losing the world title. So this was all of that. And it was definitely, I'll ask you, Mark, how were you feeling when you saw that Seth returned? I don't know if you were watching live or not, but how were you feeling? And was it unexpected for you? Because it definitely caught me by surprise. I was not expecting him back this quick. I was expecting him to probably be out through SummerSlam, was my guess. That he would return either... the earliest was SummerSlam in my head, so this is definitely early. But zero complaints over here. Like I said, I put this tweet out yesterday. The level of excitement and joy I felt in that moment when Seth Rollins returned. And like I said, he's only been out a couple of months, and it's not like he was severely injured, more just kind of taking a break. But man, I was so happy to have him back. And I really think he's probably my favorite ever at this point. Like, I've been watching him for 10 years now in WWE alone. So 10 years since the Shield broke up. So he's been riding longer than that. So, yeah, man, I think he's probably earned that title from me as my favorite of all time at this point. I think that's what put it over the edge for me. I was so excited. Like, I literally jumped up. I was like, let's go! Like, oh, God, I miss Seth. So, yeah, Mark, how are you feeling? Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was very surprised because I kind of thought that closer to SummerSlam is when we were going to get his return. I wasn't sure necessarily if he was going to actually wrestle at SummerSlam, but I thought
I was pretty convinced he wasn't
going to
be
Drew and Punk.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced like he wasn't going to be on the SummerSlam card. You know what I mean? Or any cards before that, because he's on the Money in the Bank card. But I mean, yeah,
however,
we get it. Yeah, we get into that. We got a match.
I was more surprised about this match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised. I was surprised about this match too. Know what part of me thinks with this match is?
I know what's gonna happen.
Oh, well, you can go into that in just a sec. This isn't really involving that, but I think this kind of, to me, could be wrong. Could be eating my words. I think this probably solidifies that Cody's not going to be on the Money in the Bank card.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think
Fully
he's
agreed.
not.
We
defending.
talked about it a week or two ago.
But especially with the return of Seth, so I and it doesn't have to be. I think give it more time to build, especially if they're going to go with the solo one. Give it some more time, because it could be. And listen, we can get into it another time on whether we want Randy or want Solo. But
Well, I think everyone knows who we want.
Listen, I do want Randy, but I don't hate what they're doing. Because this is how Roman gets back involved, probably. Solo going after the title. Roman hasn't even had a chance back at this title yet. And Solo?
True.
Solo's jumping the line to get the title that Roman considers his. Anyway, that's for another episode. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, we might be eating our words. I feel like this probably solidifies that Cody is not going to be on the card, which is fine. And it's only a few weeks away. This is a weird time where they have like so many premium live events kind of back to back. It always seems to happen that way when there's a Saudi show. That like the schedule kind of gets screwed up a little bit for the following few pay-per-views. But with that being said, how are you feeling about this match, Mark?
Well, I felt kind of random. Not necessarily random. Random! If you know that, you're a real one. But it's like... because obviously we're getting Gunther versus Priest at SummerSlam. So you kind of need something quick to give to Priest because you're not going to... You probably aren't going to have Cody on the show. So it's kind of like Money in the Bank's in a weird spot a little bit because it's right before SummerSlam. And so you're kind of just waiting to start things. Obviously, Cody's done with AJ. So I don't think Cody's going to be on the Money in the Bank card. But for this match, it was shocking. And I was kind of like questioning how it was going to go down. However, I think I've got it decided in my head because I think it all leads to SummerSlam. And I think it leads to a triple threat match at SummerSlam. I think Chick Magnet Punk is going to cost Seth this match at Money in the Bank. Because here's the thing. Seth isn't going to lose cleanly. Right? It's just not going to happen. He's not going to lose to Priest cleanly. And I don't think the Judgment Day is going to get involved because they're with handling other stuff. So realistically, I don't think Priest is going to get a cheap win by himself. I think it's going to be Punk. I think that's going to set up the triple threat match for SummerSlam between Drew, Punk, and Seth because Drew quit on Monday Night Raw. So I think Drew could be out of the picture potentially until after Money in the Bank. So then CM Punk costs Seth, and then because he just cost Drew, and then that sets up the triple threat match.
I don't know, man. Like, I understand your theory in like Friday being too quick for Drew to show back up, but it just makes too much sense. Like it's in Chicago. Drew, like Punk just calls it Drew in Drew's home country. Drew probably wants to show up through the crowd and just destroy Punk in front of his home city. That I really feel like he's coming showing
He's
up
gonna
on
beat
Friday.
the fuck out of him, dude.
Dude, it's gonna be bad. There will definitely be blood. I think CM Punk needs
there
to
will be
bleed
blood.
at this point. I think next time, I think we need a really good Drew McIntyre beatdown on Punk to like bring this to the next level. You know what I mean? I don't know,
Yeah.
because it's like Punk has been getting over on Drew too much now.
I know
Drew
what you
needs
mean.
Drew needs a little something, and he needs to take it to the I'm not playing games, okay? I will make you bleed your own blood, bitch.
Kill you.
You bloody bitch. I challenge CM
How do you think this match?
Punk. Sorry.
Wow. Well, how do you think this match goes down? Do you think Seth loses cleanly? You think there's some shenanigans with the Judgment Day?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Probably some Judgment Day shenanigans. But I don't know. I don't think Seth needs to be involved in the Punk and Drew thing. Like, as of right now, I think building that to an eventual triple threat match between the three is cool, but I think, like, Punk and Drew have so much, like, I don't know. Like, there's so much hate. Like, Seth has almost kind of become an afterthought to me in this story. For now, at least. Because
Definitely.
I think down the line, for sure, a triple threat is got to be in the works, potentially next Mania. I mean, and you might even be right. It might even happen this quickly. But I think, essentially, I think they're more likely to like play the long game with the triple threat rather than the Drew and Punk match. But I don't know how Damian wins. Like, maybe... Hear me out here. What if like Finn
I'm hearing you.
wins money in? What if Finn wins Money in the Bank, and then like later that night he like it's like a cash in, but he doesn't actually cash in. He like comes out, gets involved somehow, and it's like looks like he's gonna cash in on Damian, but he ends up saving Damian, and Damian ends up winning. But then Damian like probably. Maybe Damian takes it too far and is like thinks Finn is cashing in on him or something and like hits Finn or something. But
That's definitely interesting. Although
I
I
don't
don't
know.
love the idea of Finn winning Money in the Bank.
you don't love it?
No. I just don't think he needs it.
Yeah, I don't love
as much.
it.
I like.
I don't
I'm
hate
a
it.
Finn Balor guy. I love.
Yeah,
Finn
no,
Balor,
I definitely don't.
But like,
definitely don't love it.
I don't know. There's other people.
But
I would
anyway,
rather have
I'm not
win.
exactly sure, but I think we both agree that this leads to a Damian victory, and then Damian versus Drew. Damian versus Gunther at SummerSlam, and then Seth. And you would assume Seth is going to be involved in SummerSlam because he's not. Because I feel like they wouldn't bring him back now if he wasn't going to be on SummerSlam. So
Yeah, maybe he's like a special guest ref for Drew and Punk.
that could be interesting.
Kind of get
So-
him involved, but not like have him in the match.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to the Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's. So we have one man who has qualified, and that is Jay Uso. Money in the Yeet. He's saying Yeet in the Bank. I like Money in the Yeet a lot better. I don't know. What are you thinking? Money in the Yeet or Yeet in the Bank?
Well, I think Yeet in the Bank makes more sense, but I think Money in the Yeet is funnier.
I just think Money in the Yeet sounds better. I don't know why. I just feel like it rolls off the tongue a little more. Money in the Yeet rather than Yeet in the Bank. I don't know. It's just a little forced. Feels like a little forced. Money in the Yeet feels a little less forced to me.
Yeah, definitely rolls off the tongue nicely. But
Like
we
Mr.
have
Yeet in the Bank? Nah, Mr. Money in the
Mr.
Yeet.
in the Bank. Mr. Money
Nah,
in the
Mr.
Yeet.
Money in the Yeet. Like, that's better.
Hey man, maybe Let's get a petition going to change it.
Well, he also does have to win if he was to do that. But with that being said, I don't know if they've officially said it or not. Are these going to be 6-person ladder matches or 8-person ladder matches?
Probably 6, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably 6. Like, they used to be 8 back in the day, and I saw a thing that said they thought Triple H is going to do 8. But
8's a
we'll
lot,
see.
dude.
Yeah, 8 is a lot of people, especially in a ladder match.
And I
but
also don't
I think
think
6
they
is
would
the
do
perfect
triple
amount.
threat matches if they're doing 8.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because they would have more people. So Jey Uso is our first person to qualify. Do you have who are your guesses on who is going to be some of the other participants in this match?
So we're recording this prior to SmackDown, and this is coming out on Monday. So these matches already happened. So we already got 2 people for the men from SmackDown who are qualified, but we don't know them yet. So those 2 matches were Kevin Owens versus Andrade versus Grayson Waller, and then the other match was Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga versus Carmelo Hayes. So 2 of those 6 will be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. If I had to guess, I think Carmelo Hayes feels like a good lock to be in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, who do you think he pins though? Because he's in a match with Tama Tonga and Randy.
Probably.
It doesn't feel like they
This may
put
sound-
Randy in Money in the Bank, right?
No.
Like with his
I don't
back
think
and
so.
everything. Like, I don't know.
I think Carmelo pins Randy, dude.
Maybe he needs to
I
be in
think
Money.
Tama-
That's the thing. Like, he needs we need Melo in Money in the Bank, bro.
Melo's
Like-
going to be in Money in the Bank. It's happening. Melo in the Bank.
I think, and then the other one for me is KO. I feel like is kind of a lock, for Money in the Bank.
You
in my
think
opinion.
KO's going to be in it?
Yeah,
he's got to be.
yeah. I think it's
Unless
So I think it's gonna be Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Carmelo Hayes. I think Ludwig's gonna be in it.
I
Or
like
no,
that.
who's Ludwig's match against?
Is that for this coming Monday?
It's a triple. Yeah. I can't remember. They posted it, but essentially, so the only thing confusing with Ludwig is how he's now kind of involved with Sheamus, and Sheamus is involved with Sammy
That's
and
dumb.
Braun.
That's done.
What?
Him and Sheamus is donezo.
He literally came out and attacked Sheamus on Monday.
Before or after Sheamus was going for the IC title?
Like during that
Oh,
segment.
during that match?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
like
then.
during Sheamus versus Braun. Like Ludwig.
I don't know. I couldn't find what match he's going to be on. I don't know, but I have the other one for Monday Night Raw tonight, which is Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable versus Braun Strowman. Feels like Bronson Reed's going to be.
Yeah. I would say yeah, so give me I think Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Ludwig Kaiser.
From Raw.
Yeah.
Mello,
Although
KO.
yeah, and then Melo, KO. And I guess we'll need one more from SmackDown.
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, give me Corbin. Give me Corbin.
me
Throw him in
Corbin.
there.
Let's
he's,
go.
He's won it before. I like that. So who do you think? So for me, this is somebody in the bank that has a lot of options. Lot of options.
I think
Also, Finn Balor
Call me crazy.
isn't gonna win Money in the Bank because he's not in the match. I don't know why I thought
Hey, man.
that.
Hey, man, it's all right. We don't know.
I think he was
all
in
the
that qualifying
participants,
match. He was in the qualifying match with Jay and lost to Jay. That's why. But yeah. So I feel like I don't know how you're feeling. I feel like there's a lot of different ways this could go. And it's obviously all depending on who's in it. Like, so you obviously have a couple safe bets. You know what I mean? Like, your safest pick is probably Kevin Owens. Like, your safest pick. Because he feels like he's in the match, and, like, you could throw a world title on him right now, but he also hasn't been in the world title. Like, he had kind of that feud with Roman, but he hasn't held world title gold since he had that first Universal title. So I do think,
which is bizarre.
I do think it could benefit him. Like I don't think Kevin Owens is past the point where he is to the point where he's above the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think maybe he is. I don't know though, because it's like it gets you into the world title picture though. So it's like
I don't think
know. Nobody's really above it. I mean, Cena's won it, so nobody's really above it. But
Cena's won it twice.
Yeah, so who? But it feels. All right, so I'll say this, and you'll probably agree with me. Everything points to Jay, right? Everything points to Jay.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Okay.
But it just doesn't
I don't think he wins.
No, neither. Like, that's the thing. Like, neither do I. Because it doesn't feel...
Listen, I got to say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick. I know we all love Jey Uso. We all want him to get that big singles title. But it's just not going to happen. Like, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now.
You don't think he's ever going to get a singles title?
Not now.
What, if not now, then when?
Never. That's what I'm like. I just think, like, once him and Jimmy reunite, I think it's Usos till they retire. And listen, I'm with the people. I want Jey Uso. Like, I'm not happy about this. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it would have happened within this past year or two. And I don't think he's going to win Money in the Bank because I think that the bloodline is going to cost him.
Yeah, so it's like that's kind of where I am at with it. I said essentially where I'm at, what I was trying to say where it's just like everything's pointing to Jay is that it's like it feels like they want everyone to feel like it's going to be Jay. Does that make sense?
He's probably the betting odds potentially.
Like I think like they want us to think Jay will win. But who do you think does win, dude? Who do you think wins Money in the Bank this year?
I will have a pretty good idea of like once obviously we don't have the official field set at time of recording this. We literally Jey Uso is the only person who has qualified. That being said, if Carmelo Hayes is in this match, Carmelo Hayes is winning Money in the Bank. I will throw my mortgage down on that. Yeah.
Damn. You think so? That quickly?
And he's
getting Money in the Bank
for a long time, dude.
Yeah, dude. Mello as Mr. Mello in the Bank.
Mello in the Bank.
Oh my god.
Mello in the Bank, dude. It's easy. It's right there. And I think like because now we're starting to get that crop, like Triple H's crop, right? Like the Triple H wrestlers is coming up now, and they're making their names known. And so I think this is when it's like, all right, Triple H knows. He knows what to do. Now, I could see a world where Tama wins the triple threat match and him and Jay are both in it. Now, I don't think Tama's not going to win, but, you know, if Carmelo isn't in the match, then it's going to be tough to kind of figure out who it's going to be.
I mean, you got to have somebody else besides Mello. You can't be that sold that Mello is going to win.
I'm pretty confident.
Really?
I mean,
I love Mello, and I'm with it. Like, I just can't feel that confident about him winning Money in the Bank this quickly.
I mean,
like they didn't put it on LA Knight last year.
Well, they
you know what I mean?
Not doing that. I think we all can agree. I just think they I don't know what their thought process was with that, but I think potentially they thought that he didn't really need it. Like, I think, like, looking at the two triple threat matches, like, between Andrade, Kevin Owens, Grayson Waller, Randy, Tama, and Carmelo Hayes, like, between those 6, 2 of those are going to be in the match. I think Melo has a better chance of winning the match than Kevin Owens.
I would say that too. I would say he probably has a chance of.
I think he's got a better chance of, out of the 3 guys.
He doesn't have a better chance than Jay.
Not better than Jay. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But of the other 3 on Monday Night Raw that are competing
like,
tonight,
if you had to put your money right now on Melo or Jay winning this match, who would you put it on? Like, not to be fun, like, smart bet. Like, who do you think is actually more likely?
I think the odds, the betting favorite's probably Jay.
Yeah, but what do you think? Like, who do you think is actually more likely
Deep down,
to win this match?
this is the thing. With wrestling, it's a little bit of what's up here, but more importantly, it's what's here. The gut. My gut is screaming Carmelo Hayes. That's the
I
thing.
hear you.
Like, the more I'm sitting and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Deep down,
I don't know why. You know, my
telling me Carmelo.
I have no real. I have no like hard. I'm trying to think of the word to say. I have no like real good reason other than this is what my gut's been saying the whole time.
Gotta follow the gut.
I kind of think Bronson Reed is gonna win Money in the Bank.
Bronson Reed, okay. I'm with it.
I don't know why, dude.
Bronson
It's just
Reed.
like that's the name that's been keeps popping back up in my head because I'm like, what if they? His plan has been very like since his return, it's been very obvious that he's valued because he's constantly doing something.
Yeah.
But we've yet to really get that. Like we had the small little feud recently with the IC title, but that really felt like his first like real feud on the thing. Like he had small feuds here and there, but they were always just stuck to Raw. And they put him in. They made a point to put him in like the Elimination Chamber match, and like they've made it a point to make sure he does not become irrelevant. Like they've made it a significant point to make sure that he stays somewhat relevant. And I think Triple H, feels really, really strongly about Bronson Reed. And I think it would catch people a little bit off guard. And in my head, I'm just like, I think he's a guy that they could potentially see as a world champion. Like, as a world champion heel. Like, I think... Listen. Obviously, he isn't the same guy. But I think that Triple H may see a little bit of Samoa Joe in him. Mm. I think that he may... And I think Triple H knows that Samoa Joe was like one of their biggest fumbles of recent history. So, I don't know. Like, it just feels like... I don't know. I don't know why my gut's just telling me Bronson Reed. But we should probably move on to the women's match.
What do you think? Wait, what do you think the betting odds? The odds are that Bronson Reed wins. I mean, he's got to be close to the bottom, right, of least favorites to win.
Yeah, probably. But don't you think it's like...
We love an underdog story.
Like, I don't know. Like, for some reason, I just got a feeling. Look out for Bronson Reed.
You know. I'm with
Nobody
you,
really saw Damien coming last year. So
no. So
a lot of surprising Money in the Bank winners. Yeah, the women. So are only confirmed is Io.
Interesting. Yeah. This one I'm having a tough time deciding. Actually, I don't know. Does it feel like Tiff? Is it Tiffy time?
It's Tiffy time, dude.
It's Tiffy time.
It's either Tiff, Maybe Jade. Are they gonna put Jade in this?
No.
Yeah, dude, it just feels like Tiffy time. It just really does. For in a weird way, I can see Io going back to back. I don't know why,
Wait, what'd you say?
but it just feels like I feel like I can see Io going back to back for some reason. Like, and I don't hate it.
I don't know.
Like, I really don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
She's on a different
I
brand.
mean-
She's on a different brand now. Like, there's a completely different story to tell. Like, it would be completely different storyline wise. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting thought, and they obviously like they want Io to be like a figurehead of the women's division moving forward. So like they want the women's division to be Rhea, Io, Liv, like this group, you know what I mean? Like Io's definitely at the top of that group as far as like where they value her, I'd feel like. Like she's like just under like Rhea probably. And at least how they've tried to book her. How Triple H has tried to book her at least. I don't know though.
So
It's got to be
here-
Tiffy time, dude. It's got to be Tiffy time. Pink briefcase.
Makes a lot of sense. And so we have another triple threat match for the women's qualifying for Monday Night Raw. It's Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler versus Lyra Valkyria.
Lyra's not a bad bet. Oh,
Do you think she
Lyra's
wins
winning
that
that
triple
match,
threat?
dude. Yes. Lyra, Shayna, and who?
Kyrie.
Yeah. Yeah, Lyra's winning.
Yeah, she's
They
been
want
getting a pretty
Lyra
good
and Money in the
push.
Bank. Yeah, she's been getting a push, and she's a high flyer, so they want her in Money in the Bank, I think. She's good
Now-
too. I think I think she's a dark horse potentially to even win too.
I could see her winning for sure. I think the women's Money in the Bank is more wide open than the men.
Yeah.
Like, I think there would be more.
It's like all right, so it's
it'll
like
be tougher to
the,
predict.
Yeah, the men for me is more. I'm just like the women is more wide open. The men, I'm just like there's just not an apparent winner to me. But there's certain guys where I'm like they just wouldn't put a world title on him. Like
Yeah.
in my head, you know what I mean? But for the women, I don't know. Like I feel like really anybody I could see winning and having a successful cash in. Like, I feel like Piper. I don't know if she will be involved somehow, but she's not a bad
Let's get
pick.
Chelsea Green in this match, dude.
Yeah, Chelsea. Maybe Sonya's in this match. Maybe not. I don't
Now-
know, but I think it's got to be Tiff.
I agree. And I've got a question for you, Dill. Is there any shot that Rhea comes back and wins Money in the Bank?
No, dude, no. She's not coming back this early. I don't think she would. I don't think they would have taken the title off of her. I legit think she might be out until like Rumble. I think she's gonna be out a while.
I mean, we thought Seth was going to be out for longer, and look at him.
I don't know though. So maybe they wouldn't be keeping the Liv story going like this if she was gonna be out for that long. But in my head, I'm like, they wouldn't have put the title on Becky and then put it on Liv if they weren't expecting Rhea to be out for a while. Because in my head, I'm like, once Rhea comes back, she has to take that title off Liv.
Yeah, probably. But then the question is when? When? Because if, like, what? Obviously, this
Mania.
is looking down the road.
Rhea wins again at Mania.
Yeah, but who's next for Liv?
right now,
Yeah,
Oh,
like what do you
Zelina.
think Liv's gonna do at SummerSlam?
I think Liv might wrestle Zelina at Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean they'll do something. We'll do something. Could be Lyra. Like they obviously really like Lyra. I could 100% see that end up being something. Like a SummerSlam match. Lyra. Who else? There's people. They got people.
Got plenty of people. So
What other matches do you think might be on this card?
I think a triple threat for the IC title.
I think we're both thinking the same thing. Sammy, Sheamus, and Braun.
Yes. I feel it's pretty locked
Yes.
in. I feel like if that wasn't the case, it wouldn't have been. What was it? It was like a double disqualification or
Double-
something.
Yeah, I think so. No contest.
Not sure how that makes sense in a triple threat match.
It wasn't a triple threat.
Oh, right. It was singles. My
Yeah.
bad, y'all.
But I feel like the way I picture this going is Braun and Sheamus end up just getting like too carried away with each other and like beating the shit out of each other so hard, and then Sammy ends up being able to capitalize on it and retain.
Yeah, I agree. Now I got two questions for you. Number one, does Sheamus ever win the IC title before he retires? Okay. Question number two. Is Braun Breaker taking this IC title off of Sami Zayn at SummerSlam?
Probably.
Agreed. Seems like that's where we're heading, and I'm completely
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah. Not a bad call.
Do you think, now let me ask you this, do you think there's any chance potentially Sammy loses the IC title at Money in the Bank and then he inserts himself into the Money in the Bank ladder match just because a lot of people think that they think he's going to win the Money in the Bank, or at least he's a good pick to win the ladder match. But that was before Clash at the Castle. So I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I really don't know. I think if they were going to have him lose, it was probably to Gable. So,
Agreed. And then Gable got killed.
yeah, killed by the Wyatt Six. Got
Do you
that,
think?
dude. Yeah, dude.
you
Do you think the Wyatt Six is going to be getting involved? This new version, the Wyatt family, in Money in the Bank at all? So this was my thought too. I could see this new Wyatt family going, or I could see the Wyatt Six going after Seth.
I mean,
Like good first feud. That might be why they brought him back. I don't know.
they
Just
did
a thought.
attack him. He was one of the many people they attacked backstage.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, there was like a whole list. It was Gable, obviously, Gunther,
Yeah.
Seth. I forget who else, but there was like 5 or 6 people. Which, like, that whole thing was awesome.
Yeah, dude. That was insane.
I'm super pumped to see where this goes. But you had a pretty good, interesting theory that I feel like they're gonna kind of like with them calling them the 6, but there's only 5 of them. You want to drop your theory on that?
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, it's not even that crazy of a theory because I saw it's just like honestly a ton of people are saying it at this point. But
I haven't seen anybody say it besides you.
really, I saw like a bunch of people. But anyway, I thought of it right. I thought right away. I was like, oh, there's only 5 of them, and the 6th is Bray. Like I literally thought of it immediately. Like not even. It was just immediately. I was like, that's dope. The 6th is Bray.
Yeah,
Like,
because I just wanted to bring it up because I saw a lot of people sort of being like, "Who's going to be the 6th member?" Potentially, it's
Oh,
Alexa.
yeah.
But I think it's cooler. If
It
they
still
legitimately-
definitely potentially is Alexa. But I think it is probably just Bray and like a tribute to him.
Yeah,
Which makes sense and would be like a nice tribute.
yeah. I fully agree. So I think right now, just going through early match predictions for Money in the Bank, the few ones that we touched on, obviously it's Seth versus Damian. I think they're going to do the triple threat for the IC title. I think probably Liv versus Selena, and then I think potentially probably just going to be the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. I don't think we're going to run with more than 5. I think potentially they could just have 2 matches outside of the Money in the Bank ladder matches. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 5. I think Triple H is going to stick to his philosophy.
And I like 5.
Loves 5.
Like,
yeah, I think 6 is perfect in my opinion. 5 feels a little small.
I mean,
For
I
me.
definitely feel you on that, but I think
It always feels like there's another match we could have, like another story that could be on the pay-per-view.
I
That is
fully agree
basically
with
how
that, but like the last couple of premium live events I've watched, and I haven't been like they haven't felt short.
I get that. That's true.
And I also
That's
like the
definitely
idea
true.
of like not just throwing a bunch of matches on this. Like you need to kind of like earn your spot on this card. It feels a bit more like exclusive, like matches that we're not gonna like we don't constantly get. Because that's
Yeah.
kind of the issue with when you put a ton of matches on, and
Yeah.
going like 4 or 5 hours is too long for a wrestling show. I think like 3 to 3.5 is kind of the money spot. I could potentially see them just kind of going with 6, moving forward after, potentially because they now SummerSlam's 2 nights. Maybe they'll start to add another match following that. But Dylan, do you have any other thoughts about Money in the Bank predictions? Anything bold that you want to drop? Do you think? I guess since it happened, any chance Cody versus Solo at Money in the Bank?
I mean, I guess there is like a slight chance, but it just feels like they're gonna wait till SummerSlam. Feels like you gotta have Seth in the main event. And it feels like Cody versus Solo is a main event match.
Agreed. So, any other predictions for Money in the Bank before? Now, these are not our official predictions. Do you think anything that could potentially
Just
happen?
the Wyatt 6 is gonna get involved in something, whatever it is. They're gonna be there.
I like that. So, you guys let us know in the comments, wherever you're watching or listening to this, what matches do you think are going to be happening? Who is an early prediction for you to win both the men and women's Money in the Bank ladder match? You can follow us on X at The Burnt Hammer. It's the best way to get our immediate reactions, our
Yeah.
thoughts for everything in the world of professional wrestling. You can follow us on everything else, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at The Burning Hammer. That's the best way to stay up to date with whenever we release new episodes of the podcast. You can listen to the Burning Hammer podcast,
releasing new
Apple,
episodes.
Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Plus, you can watch it on YouTube at The Burning Hammer. Wow, that's gonna wrap it up. I think within the next week or two, we're probably going to be potentially talking about how we think the Bloodline story is going to play out, just to give you a bit of a sneak preview into a future episode. So, I'm Mark Izzo. He is Dylan O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We'll catch you next week.